Hey! Welcome back. So today we are going to begin the Barnes truss install on the old Dana 60 here for the JK. So, did a little bit of reading instructions. And I believe what I've came up with is what we got to do. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Anyway, so we're going to get started on that. Hang around. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do, we are going to begin by probably fire up the torch, cut off this stuff off right here, cut this bracket off down here. Won't worry about grinding it clean just yet, because then we're going to take and measure off of here 2 inches over, mark it all the way around the casting, cut that off. We'll probably slice it and slice it and then slice it again in about 3 spots, break those 2 chunks off, try to get about halfway around, knock the other portion off. So got to be careful not to cut too far into this. Also need to make a nice smooth round portion. When we laid the top portion of the truss on it there earlier, we will have to trim both sides of this right here. It says you may have to grind a little bit, but we'll have to trim a little bit out of it, and that's okay. So what we're going to do, obviously, like I say, is cut this side off over here with the torch. This side right here, I'm going to take a little magnet round measuring tape that I had. Come on. Alright, so on this portion right here, what I want to do is I'm going to take this little piece of round magnet type of measuring tape, and we're going to wrap it around this right here. Obviously we're going to be able to flatten it out some. We'll measure over 2 inches, measure 2 inches, mark it. Then we'll be able to kind of lay it down and start running a straight line with it, be able to take a Sharpie and draw a nice straight line all the way around it. Draw a straight line all the way around it, take a cut off disc, cut it, slice it, slice it, slice it. And we'll knock it out of there, get that chunk gone. Grind a little bit of this out. And then we'll start with putting it all back together. So, let's fire up the torch. Let's get to cutting. All right, now we got all that cut off, got the bottom one cut off. So we will save the grinding for after this side's cut. So that way kind of round the edge, because when you take a cut off this right here, it's going to be pretty well flat cut, sharp, jagged edge maybe, I don't know, you like sway a little bit. But so we'll take a flap disc, clean all this up, make it nice and smooth before we start doing the truss. So let's get to marking the other side. Like I said, we're going to take this little magnet tape, make my 2 inch line, measure over with the tape measure, take Sharpie and mark it, and then we'll cut it out and go from there. All right, let's mark it and cut it. All right, got a nice cut all the way around. Was able to not cut very much into the tube, which is good. I got a little bit right here, but that is not even, you can barely catch that with your fingernail. So, all right, not too bad. So now I think we'll take and round some of this a little bit. We'll lay the truss up here. We'll mark this off where it needs to be. Mark this off where it needs to be. And then we'll make sure we get rid of this. Grind all that down under there. And get rid of that all at the same time. Round this here off just a little bit. Get rid of some of these points and corners. And then we'll be about ready to put the truss up here and start tacking it together. All right, let's mark it off. So, might not be able to see these marks too awful good. I got one up here, which got one over here. So it says to center it up. It also, with the angle finder on top, it says to level this up, which I did prior to when I first put it up here. I squared this up because it says to make this part right here, put something on there. But obviously with the diff cover off, but I did it with it on because there's a little bit of adjustment in the bars. Squared this up, made it, you know, straight up and down. And then when you put the truss on there, it says to angle it back 7 degrees. So this vent is close to the center. So that's kind of what I did. Is put the angle finder on it, laid it back there, mark these off. Now we're going to grind that out. And again, we'll grind those off and clean this up. And we'll get back to you when we get ready to set the truss on there. Hey, all right. So now we are, let me turn this thing off since it's got a fan blow. All right. So today we got the old ESOB hot gluing. So starting back together with some of this today. We're gonna see what we can do. So as I left off just a little bit ago, got all the brackets, got to cut. Oh wait, sorry. Got all the brackets cut off. Cut this ground out so the truss will fit down in there. Test fitted it. Cleaned me up the spot all the way down wherever it's going to be welding at. Ground this one out too. A little bit right there, a little bit right there. Still got to wipe it down. So we started tacking the brackets on the truss. I laid it up there, squeezed it down, and tacked it all in. And we're starting right now with putting in the coil spring seats. So pretty much what I plan on doing right now is we're going to get those seats in, get all the truss brackets. Since I tacked it in multiple spots, we're going to weld it in real good. Then we can flip it over. Put it over on the axle, tack it on the axle, you know, make sure everything's centered to the ground. Tack it on the axle, then we'll roll the axle over and start grinding off some of the slag off the bottom on this one side and start working on the lower control arm mounts. Now, some people may question, you ain't taking the gears out of this. You ain't got the seals. You're going to run the seals. When you heat that tube up, you're going to run the gears. That's okay, because it's all going to get changed anyway. So I didn't strip this axle down. I left it as complete because I didn't want a bunch of pieces laying around everywhere. So I left it as complete. So I'm gonna get the truss and everything installed kit, all the truss kit ready for the axle to bolt in. Then we're gonna do the rear one, and then we're going to order the gears, lockers, and change those out, front and rear, make the axles ready to bolt in. And that's the way we're gonna go about it. So again, like I say, we got her cleaned up, gonna do some welding on the truss with the old little ESOB here, and then we'll get it set up here, and we'll see if we can't tack it a little bit to the housing and see how that goes. So stick around. All right, now we got the truss all welded up, and got it set up on the axle, clamped it down real good, made sure everything's nice and tight up through here, attacked it in a couple spots. So now it's sitting where it's going to. So now I'm going to take the spring cups right here to help keep the spring center. We'll take those and start welding those. I'm going to weld those on the inside, on each side. Then we'll put the caps on them, and then we'll start doing the upper link mounts. Once all those are on, then we're going to weld this in all on the tube. We'll be jumping around doing some of that, so it's not to add a whole lot of heat to any certain area and possibly warp the tube. So here we go. Woo! Bluing is gluing. I like it. So turned out pretty good. So I believe that's everything on the top. It's gonna get burned in. I believe now we just got to weld it to the housing. I'll get the old telephone out and look at the install instructions, make sure I didn't miss nothing before I weld it to the axle. It's already gonna suck if I did, but hey, at least I ain't gotta cut the whole thing off if I forgot something underneath there, which I don't think I did, but we will look at them and find out. If I didn't, however, we're going to we'll get it welded to the axle. We'll bounce around a little bit, weld it to the axle. Then we'll roll it over. We'll grind off, probably drain the oil out low because it does have a vent hole over here. Before we roll it over, but roll it over, grind some of that slag off, and get started on the shock tabs, lower control arm mounts, and track bar bracket, I believe. All right, so let's get on that. All right. So, after some time and effort and not paying attention to GoPro, here it is, the Barnes truss on a 99 to 04 Dana 60 JK kit. So, still got a little bit to do with heating up the cast and obviously welding that up. And finishing that, we're going to do a little bit on the shock mount. There's the shock tabs, lower control arm. Track bar bracket. Yeah, there it is. So we're going to heat up the cast a little bit and weld some truss parts on that. Got a little bit of that shock bracket to weld over there on the cast. And sway bar link tabs. There's a measurement for them, but I believe I might just wait till I get it bolted in our Jeep, get it centered, then mount the sway bar on there. It's just 2 little tabs. Other than that'll be everything for the JK truss install. We do got to still yet change gears, lockers, outer hubs, all that stuff on it. Get it cleaned up, painted, of course, after we finish welding the cast portions. But that's it for today's work of the Barnes 9904 install kit for a 2-door JK or 4 JKU, so they are the same. Stick around for the 14 bolt. Like, subscribe, share, and thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching.